Have you ever had a super nice insight and you didn't know what to do with it? Well, wonder no more, because in this video we will cover 5 steps on what to do once you have an insight. If you watch some of my videos, you might see that every now and then I speak like this, to the side. Recently, I was watching videos of when I was very little and some pictures, and I realized when I was hanging out with my aunt, I would do this all the time. And I noticed that my aunt does this all the time. This is actually the signature that I was hanging out with my aunt a lot. This is an example of an insight. Insights are revelations that we get all the time, that all of a sudden we realize something that was there and we couldn't see before. An insight can be something that you think over and over again. So maybe a belief or a thinking pattern. It can also be a behavior that you perform and you don't even know that you're doing it. But whenever you see it, you cannot unsee it. But very often you can just ignore it and not do something about it. So in this video, we will cover 5 steps that you can take to integrate an insight. Step 1. I always do steps. You're so nice. Step 1. Have an insight. An insight can be that you decide, oh, sugar is actually not so great for me. Or that you decide, oh man, I'm smoking way too much. It might happen naturally in a conversation. It might happen if you're going to a coach or a therapist. It might happen just because you're daydreaming and realizing things about yourself. Insights happen all the time and in many different ways. So when you get one, catch it because it's good stuff. Now we go to step 2. Take that insight and make it big. Notice in all of the ways that this pattern, this behavior, this cognition, it's affecting your life. So let's say we're gonna go with sugar. Poor sugar, but let's go with sugar. That you're having too much sugar and then you have low blood sugar levels in the afternoon and then you're always tired and you're not productive and this is affecting your work and it's affecting your relationships. So that tiny insight of maybe I should stop having so much sugar transforms into this big insight of sugar is affecting my life in so many different ways. I have nothing against sugar. Maybe I should. So yeah, in step 2, just make it big. Make it impossible to unsee and notice all of the different ways that it affects your life. Step 3, decide to change. Because just having the insight is not enough to make any changes. And this is a separate step because it's so super important. If you're just going with the insight and realizing, wow, this affects me a lot, but you're not deciding to change, nothing is going to happen. So in this step is where you make a commitment. You create a contract with yourself and say, okay, I'm going to evolve and I'm going to treat this insight as an opportunity, an invitation to become a better human. Step 4, get practical. So far, we just talked about how important it is to have an insight and we just enhance it and made it big. But now we get down to business. Is that a sex thing? This is where we actually decide how we going to implement the changes that this insight brought upon us. How are you going to react next time you're in the supermarket and you feel the need to buy sugary things? That's me. Or let's say that you have an insight that the job that you're in is not the best for you. Then you realize you need to actually update your resume and start looking for a new job. The actions you take can be in the behaviors or in the cognition. You can just modify your internal talk to create new neural pathways, or you can modify the actions that you take as a consequence of having that insight. Make sure that you decide beforehand how you will react next time you're triggered. And then we land in step 5. Go through with the plan. Go and take the action that you already figured is the one that you need to take. When we imagine things, they're living in a utopia, but then when we are in the reality, it doesn't go as smoothly usually. Maybe we thought that we will go to the supermarket and not even pass next to the sugar section. Well, there's many sugar sections in the supermarket. So you may need many iterations of the responses that you give whenever you get triggered for this insight. So if it's not great the first couple of times you try a new thing, don't worry, it gets better. And at least you get more information on how to do it differently next time. Let's summarize the steps that you should take next time you have an insight. First one, having an insight. Okay, pretty self-explanatory, and you're probably in that step already. Second, make it big. Remember, if it's a small insight, it's not worth our time. So make it big. See in all the ways that this is affecting your life, how it could be better if you changed it. Third, commit. Decide to change. This is where you flip the switch inside and you are like, okay, every time that this is happening, I'm going to take a different approach than what I usually take. Fourth, get practical and bring it down to earth. How are you going to act next time you get triggered in this insight? And fifth, go through with it, because it's great to do all of the previous steps, but if you don't take it to action, then it's going to be incomplete. So go through with it and remember, iterate. It's not going to be perfect the first time you try something new, but it might be perfect never. So don't think it's going to be perfect, but you'll get better. The goal with this is to take every insight as an invitation, as an opportunity to better your life, better your relationship with yourself, and become a more coherent human. So, are there any insights that you had recently that you would like to share? I honestly just discovered that I sometimes speak like this because of my aunt. Thank you for watching, and see you next week with another psychology video. It's honestly so weird that sometimes I speak like half of my face is paralyzed. Unnecessarily. Yeah.